Where's my phone?
Do you really need it?
It's fucking yes, research purposes.
I actually wanted to start the podcast off by I wanted to talk about this story I was listening to
Sure.
on YouTube. It was about this gentleman named Sir Alfred. He lived inside CDG Charles de Gaulle Airport in France for 16 years. He lived
Holy
on the
shit.
same little red bench posted up near McDonald's. He ate McDonald's every single day for 16 years.
Sounds like Saeed is a homeless
Smoked
person.
smoked a pipe on his bench while he was writing and reading newspapers. He started in the 80s and he left in 2006. So he saw clothing trends change. He saw technology improve. He quite literally entered a new millennia in this airport at this one exact spot. And his whole story is very interesting. But Sir Alfred, it's this I believe he's an Iranian guy, born in Iran. His story, so he claims, is that his father had relations with a woman from Scotland, and then the child was born and then was sent back to Iran to live with the wealthy dad. And at that time, it was very culturally frowned upon to be part of to be an illegitimate child, essentially, or a bastard son. And so, according to him, his mother, or his mom who he lived with, casted him out, and it sent him on this whole spiral of protesting in different countries, getting kicked out, and eventually ending up in Charles de Gaulle to get to Scotland to go find his mom. Right? He was at Charles de Gaulle, flew to I think it was England, if I remember correctly. Sorry, not Scotland, it was England. Customs kicked him out, and so they put him on a flight to the only airport that they could send him to, which was the one he came from, Charles de Gaulle. Gets to Charles de Gaulle and is stuck there because he claims that his passport and his refugee papers and everything else were taken from him or stolen. So he's stuck at this airport waiting for essentially his passport and identification to get out and go see his mom. So there's some human rights lawyers that are in touch with him, and they're trying to get him documentation. And after, I think it was 7 years, so this would have been in the 90s, they were able to give him his original Iranian passport, his birth certificate, and basically everything he would need to get out of the country and resume his life. But he kept refusing, saying, "No, I am Sir Alfred. This is who I am, and I want a passport from either the United States or Switzerland or Sweden." And he's just like, "I refuse. I'm not taking it unless it says I'm from that country." He had his ticket out to go find his mom, and he's like, "No, I'm Sir Alfred. I'm not this guy that you claim, or that you claim I am, or whatever." And the human workers, or the human rights lawyers, they were like, "Dude, this is you. We know it's you. It's your passport with your photo on it before you even cast it out on this journey. And why aren't you taking it?" He's like, "It has to be from here. It has to be from the US or Sweden," right? A little bit later, documentaries made about him, movie comes out about him, which doesn't do very well. And then eventually a movie by, I think it was, who was the guy that made Jurassic Park? Totally blanking. Steven Spielberg made a movie, I believe, with Tom Hanks. It was like Le Airport Man.
It's gonna bother you for the next month.
Le Terminal Man, I think. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, they made a movie. Then it launched him to a huge fame. World renowned. People know about this dude that lives in Charles de Gaulle Airport in France. Literally, because Tim Honks. I watched his whole document. Somebody made a 20-minute video about him on YouTube, an expose about his whole life. And here's where shit gets really weird. So he already had the passport. I already talked about that to get out, right? and he was refusing to accept it because he's like, this is me, this is my identity, this is like what I associate as now. Going as far to not even speaking Persian to people. That's how much he rejects his like Iranian identity. Then he gets launched into superstardom, and then the stories start to come out, right? More documentaries are made about him, and one was incredibly significant because they tracked down his family in Iran that he originally lived with, like, you know, for his whole childhood. And this guy isn't stupid. This guy went to college, like, he's college educated, you know. And it's like, why would he lie about any of this stuff? Or like, what's the deal? And so this documentary person contacted the family, and they were like, yeah, we talked to him in the 90s, and this is in like the 2000s. They're like, he just outright rejected us. Like, they showed up and they said, come home. And he's like, I don't know you. Get away from me.
Why?
Saying all this stuff. No one knows. That's the thing.
What is? No one knows his intention. Like,
Just no one knows why he's like outright rejecting. He hasn't stated
I got hiccups.
any of that. Right?
you about to die?
Where's my water, dude?
I don't know. Where is your water?
Go get your water.
Yeah, go get some. Wait, is this your water?
Yes, it is.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought it was Zaid's.
I was like looking for it secretly.
But yeah, the family was like, we tried to contact him in the early 90s, and he just pushed us away, like literally and metaphorically. And then it turns out his mom that he lived with as a child actually was his birth mother. And there never was a birth mom in Scotland. And it like shattered the mom's, like it broke the mom's heart.
Yeah,
She's like, that's my son. And he's just refusing that I'm even his mom. And like, those are what the stories claim from the family, right?
Mm-hmm.
She died brokenhearted because her son rejected her
damn.
as his true mom. And in 2006, he had a medical emergency and was rushed out of Charles de Gaulle into a nearby hospital. And it was the first time he stepped outside of that airport's like boundary for over 16 years.
Wow.
And
Dude, I got major hiccups. I'm so sorry.
Hold your breath.
somebody scare him.
Hold your breath until your consciousness starts to fade. I don't know. I don't even know if that works. I just heard
If
something.
you feel your body shuddering for oxygen, that means you're on the right path.
So, how long did he live in this airport for again?
16 years.
And of course, everything is provided for him in the airport.
Mm-hmm. Basic stuff. Oh, and he got a ton of money from, I believe it was DreamWorks, for the rights of his story.
Yeah, that shit would not fly these days, because that's
No, it still is.
Yeah, it still is, dude.
it's still what?
Mhm.
I know. I can share a story with you if you'd like. I know a person that basically he had a visa for the United States. He's not a United States citizen. He's coming from abroad, and his visa didn't get revoked. What happened was it expired, and he stayed an extra 2 days.
Oh, no.
So I don't know how the hell he was let out of the United States, but he left. By the time he got to his country, that his residency card or whatever was also revoked. It was expired.
For what?
I don't know. Like the timing of it, I guess, or something.
Bad luck.
So what happened was they were like, "Oh, you can't enter this country. United States won't let you in, so you can't go back." So what they were like, they were literally calling up countries to send him back to.
You want to
Yeah,
take this guy?
And this guy was literally from plane to plane for 3 weeks, just crying, dying. He's dead inside at that point. Like he's
Good
like,
Lord.
you know. So he ended up going to Malaysia accepted him and let him stay at one of their hotels outside, I guess, outside the airport.
Mm-hmm.
But then, what are you gonna do? Stay in Malaysia?
Yeah, what is-
you
I mean,
don't know
maybe.
anything.
Start a life
yeah.
there. I mean,
Why not?
Yeah.
If they let you.
I don't know
Go for
how,
it.
but basically it took a couple months. But someone from back home, I guess, where he lives, did some magic, and over the course of the process of months, they got his residency card back, and he traveled back, and it was
Good
just like,
Lord.
ew.
Nightmare.
The
I'm
worst
just-
decision of my life was to go to fucking Las Vegas.
Being caught in intercontinental purgatory.
I say that because do you guys know the YouTube channel Yes Theory?
Yeah.
They had a challenge
Yes.
where they stayed in the airport. They stayed, I don't know what airport, but they stayed in a very like prominent, well-known airport, and it took them. It was like a 72-hour challenge, and they had security on their ass all the time. Like they had to try to hide because you can't stay in an airport. You're viewed as a threat essentially.
Was this in America?
No, I think it was outside of America.
It's crazy, dude.
So are you saying that there are people who still live in airports these days?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
There was a story on the same video, actually. They were talking about some other people, and there was a dude who lived in an airport for longer,
Bruh.
and I think he's still living there. It's in Beijing, and I believe it was for 20 years he's been
That
in.
is a clean airport. wise man.
Well, it was like he was just down on his luck, and he had nowhere else to go, and he just ended up at this airport,
Yeah.
and nobody ever kicked him out. So he just lived there for 20
Does that mean
years.
you can go into like suites and stuff and like use their pools or whatever?
God, no.
Oh.
Yeah.
I remember seeing was that the movie you're talking about? I remember seeing a scene where this guy's swimming in a pool. He's like living the life
Mhm.
in an airport. I'm not sure
In
what
an
movie, though.
airport?
Yeah,
Are you thinking of is it with Chris Pratt?
not sure. I'm really not sure.
It's Chris Pratt and what's the other girl's name? I'm totally blanking. She was huge. She was in Silver Linings Playbook.
Jennifer
Lawrence, yeah. Was it Jennifer Lawrence and Chris Pratt? Because there is a movie about Chris Pratt on a spaceship who gets he wakes up like, what is it? Like 100 years early or some shit like that.
I don't know.
On
I've
this
never seen
journey
it.
across the galaxy. And
Guardians
then
of
he
the
wakes
Galaxy?
up. What's up?
Guardians of the Galaxy?
No, where he's on like this he's on a spaceship and he's like flying across the galaxy to some other planet,
Yeah.
right? And it takes I think it was like a couple hundred years or something like that to get there. And Chris Pratt just woke up early by accident.
Oh.
Yeah, and he had no idea how to put himself back in.
Oh shit.
Yeah, so instead of going to go wake up the captain and doing something logical, he finds the one girl he thinks is like super cute, and I forget the context behind it, if they were married or whatever,
Yeah.
but like he wakes this chick up, which is Jennifer Lawrence. Of all the people,
Yeah.
Of course.
it wasn't the flight captain. It wasn't any. It had to be Jennifer.
Yeah, it was
Lawrence.
hand selected
Mhm.
by him.
Yeah, which they later woke up the captain, and I think they killed him in the process. Like, so my only question is, who's parking that bitch? I mean, it's a giant spacecraft, like, but they live their life on it, and he has a bunch
Yeah.
of fun.
I'm trying to imagine what it's like to actually live your life in an airport.
It's
that
pretty
was-
luxurious, to be honest.
That was the question.
Because you have everything.
Yeah.
except a job.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
How are you making money?
Wait, hold on. If you have a MacBook Pro, you're chilling, dude. Because you could just learn copywriting or
You better bring a
learn how to
MacBook
design.
Pro with you.
Yeah, dude. I mean, if you don't travel with a laptop these days,
But a lot of these people that end up in a circumstance like that, I don't think they have a lot of money to throw around.
No.
They
Yeah.
probably don't have a laptop in the first
yeah, like if you
place.
saw Tim Hanks,
Tim Hanks.
what is his name?
Tom
Tom Hanks.
Hanks.
Tim
God
Chongs?
damn it,
Tom
dude.
Hanks.
You're ruining his name, Logan.
Who is this man?
I started calling him Tim.
Tim.
But yeah, dude, all he had was like a briefcase. He had nothing. He had him and his own experiences. That's it.
Yeah.
The daily things that happen at the airport.
So you just get a job at the airport?
I mean, how could you? You're not a resident to any country in that scenario.
You're right. You can't do under the table
Yeah,
because
it's
that's
a
all
logistical
government owned.
nightmare.
Exactly.
I get it.
What the hell, dude? Yikes.
Dude, I haven't been to an airport in forever.
Sir Alfred got lucky that DreamWorks pitched him a couple hundred G's, allegedly, for the rights to his story.
Wow.
Yeah. And
Which
the only
that's-
reason he even left that airport was because he blacked out one day due to a brain tumor
Ooh.
that he had that was growing for years, apparently.
Yeah.
That's an amazing stroke of luck. Think about how many other people who have probably done that never got any kind of deal or any like notoriety.
Well, this guy's story was so bizarre.
Yeah, like it
was
had
so-
to be
It
covered.
was shrouded in mystery, and everybody's like, "Who the hell is this guy?" And I feel like he was one of the first to do it.
Mhm.
Maybe. I mean, I don't know. It was back in his story ends in 2006, as far as we know.
Yeah.
We don't know if he's alive in France. Like, we don't know if he went home to Iran. We don't know anything.
True mystery, man.
And it's also possible that if he went to the hospital for a brain tumor, that he started becoming delusional as a result of it.
Yeah.
That's on the table, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not a master of biology. I don't
Hmm.
have a degree in it or a doctorate, but
Oh, it's not far fetched at all. Brain tumor. Yeah, we have cases where disrupts your brain chemistry and all that.
Mm.
Changes your
he had this
behavior.
growth on the outside of his head that quite literally grew to the size of a golf ball. Or like if you cut a golf ball in 3/4 and then you took the 1/4 off and just stuck the 3/4 of the golf ball on his head, that's what it
God.
looked like.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's trippy.
Yeah, that is trippy. Dude.
So
What
the
a
question
teacher.
is, without anything,
Mm-hmm.
a place to go, your home country deems you to be illegitimate, just based off of your story that you fabricated. What do you do? And no other country's willing to accept you at this point.
I don't know, but the first thing that comes to mind is that's what it's like to be a Palestinian. Just saying.
Yeah, for real.
Politics.
No, but
I'll tell you what. I'll tell you what most people are going to do.
What?
They're going to head to the nearest Subway.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and this ties into a different topic I'd like to discuss.
Subway sandwiches, by the way.
Imagine picking your perfect Subway sandwich. Get ready, unwrap it.
That doesn't make any sense because there's no such thing as a perfect Subway sandwich.
Well,
Because it's only 50%.
the details and facts that I'm about
It's
to
all up to preference.
about to reveal back your case up. But let's say you get the chicken Subway sandwich. All right, take a bite of it. You think it's 100% chicken, right?
Yeah.
It's not. It's not.
It's not.
I have information.
Oh, dude. So this leads to him saying that it is fabricated, like this man's story.
So
To-
a study. Okay,
yeah.
let me find who it was done by.
Alfred Hitchcock. What?
So this is Trent University's Wildlife Forensics DNA Lab. Okay,
Okay.
they did a study on a number of fast food chains, and it
Interesting.
found other fast food chains were like, okay, these are normal results, but
Mhm.
Subway's stood out for
Yeah.
some odd reason.
What's Subway?
And the headline
Yeah.
says that their chicken only contains about 50% chicken DNA. Now it ties into also the Taco Bell meat and all the other
Yeah,
bullshit.
we already talked about that.
So
We've already tacoed about that.
so here's a quote. In the tests, most of the meat from Subway's competitors was shown to contain 85 to 90% chicken DNA. Still not ideal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But Subway's oven roasted chicken registered at just 53.6%. Its chicken strips scored even lower at 42.8%.
So what are they using? Vinegar to just inflate it,
No.
or is it?
Vinegar.
Here's what they found. They concluded that the restaurant bolsters its chicken products with soy fillers.
That makes sense. I could see
So
that.
probably not. I wouldn't imagine the other 50% is just all soy.
Yeah.
But most of the remaining
Wait,
percentage is.
did you say that their chicken tenders were only 40% meat?
Yep.
So I don't know if you're aware of this.
Mhm.
There's actually a classification for nuggets, strips, and tenders in the United States.
A separate.
Yeah.
Wow.
To classify how much meat you can actually put in them to deem them what they are.
Mm.
And for a nugget, I believe it was like, if I remember correctly, it was like
How low, please?
60 or 70%.
Okay. Not too low. Okay.
And then for a strip, it was like 80. And then for a tender, it had to be, breast meat.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Just like 100% chicken. So for them to claim that their chicken tender, for that study to claim that Subway's chicken tenders are only 40% meat,
And it's a third party, too.
that has to be fraudulent, right? Because it's not, I don't know if that's
Mm.
negligence, because I'm pretty sure they know what they're doing if they're willing to make
Yeah.
the decision to make their chicken
Yeah.
tenders be 60%
well,
soy filler.
Well, that's where I'm concerned. Like,
It's just so gross.
soy filler, like, it's not the worst thing
No,
ever.
it's
just.
awful.
What do you mean?
It's terrible.
Yeah, but it's not the. What I'm saying is that
It's not pink
The,
slime like
Yeah.
back in the 90s.
that's what I'm saying. It's not like processed crap. Like you,
Well,
like you don't.
Well, it's
Well, like-
processed crap.
No, but it's not like 380 ingredients to form 1% of it. You know.
It probably is. I wouldn't doubt it.
I don't know, but I mean, I can see how soy is being used as a replacement.
What amazes me is that, listen, I have a little bit of distrust in you if you go to Subway every day for your meals.
Yeah.
Look at Jared, bro.
Well-
fucking drop the jeans.
You want to hear something insane? I've never gone to sub there. I've only gone to salads.
I
didn't
got
know a
like
salad
one or
was an
two
option
back in
at
the
Subway.
day.
Yeah, they used to be at least.
Really?
Yeah.
What kind
But-
of lettuce do they just grab a handful of that shredded shit and plop it into a bowl? They're like tomatoes.
But-
We got the slices on.
No.
But
It
what
was like
amazes me,
It's like a habit salad.
what amazes me, even with this information,
Yeah.
most people are still going to go to Subway.
Yeah. I see a lot of
So-
nurses there. It's not like I go there, but I pass by because it's right next to the stew.
Well, I think McDonald's just put this thing out today where they're like, we are now serving only fresh beef for our patties. And people are like, the fuck were you serving us before?
Yeah.
And I'm like, probably frozen beef.
It's just ridiculous, dude.
Dude, I don't know, man. Just cook your food.
And if Subway does it, you can almost guarantee that. Of course, we have evidence. Taco Bell does it. Burger King, any Popeyes, any
Yeah.
major
Bro,
fast food restaurant.
Burger King is the worst, I think, in my opinion.
Kirker beef.
Burger King.
Burger
yeah.
Bing.
Because straight up, dude, if you're selling 20 nuggets for $1.09 in today's age,
Yeah.
you're telling me that that thing is not 10% chicken?
It's 100% chicken, bro.
Carl's
No,
Jr.
no,
has a
that thing's
hamburger
below
that's
10.
almost $12 now.
Is it
What?
good though? Like,
It's pretty fire.
yeah, I've had it. It's-
Apparently,
Yeah, dude, trust. Get the guacamole bacon,
no.
$6 burger. Get a half pound,
I've been told. Okay, you know what?
but get it with a thick the steamed
C's?
buns. What was the steamed
The
buns?
thick buns.
2 C's.
Thick burgers. So they come with thick buns, and they're just like they're like honey glazed on top. They're so fucking good.
Damn.
But at the same time, just get onion rings inside your burger. Thank me later.
Now, let me say
He's not
this.
going to thank you later.
He's gonna thank me later.
I'm not gonna.
He's going
thank
to be
you
dying.
because I'm not gonna eat that.
No,
shit.
you'll thank me later. But then later, you're gonna hate
You're gonna
me.
hate me.
Yeah.
Eventually, you're going to hate me.
It's a love-hate relationship.
Literally,
As
because it's
Carl's
always good.
Jr.
It's always nice going
Hardee's.
down, but when it comes out, ain't so nice.
This is ridiculous,
Now,
dude.
I'll say this, right? I can only recall like eating at a Carl's Jr. maybe once or twice in my life. No,
Mhm.
I think we went a bit when I was a kid just to get the star nuggets, which
Yeah.
were pretty good,
Fire.
really good.
Mhm.
But in my adult life, I'll call it, right?
Yeah.
I've only eaten at Carl's Jr. I think once, and it was like in the morning ish, like 11
Oh,
or 10:30,
rip.
11
Okay.
ish.
Rest in peace.
And so we just got like I just got their burgers and shit, right?
Yeah.
To try. It wasn't the worst tasting burger. It was
Mhm.
actually not that bad.
It's really good.
Like
I'm not gonna
probably
lie.
better than McDonald's burgers, probably better than or for sure better than Burger King.
Yeah, Kirker Bing.
Doesn't beat In-N-Out, but
Yeah.
like that wasn't an option. You know.
Go on.
What?
It's just really-
You read
Another
something
thing I wanna
stupid. on-
mention.
Yeah.
Oh, good lord.
Okay.
but go on.
No, that was kind of it. It just wasn't that bad.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe their quality shit, I don't know.
Well, that's the thing
but
with food, dude. When it comes to flavor, a lot of it is good. You can't deny that.
Yeah, it's
that's
designed
what it's
to be
delicious.
yeah, it's
addictive.
designed to be that way.
Yeah, that's why
Literally.
people still go to McDonald's, dude. It's fucking good. Like, what are you gonna
And
deny
it's
that?
cheap.
You're gonna deny that because it's unhealthy? Nah, dude. Good is good, but
It's
like,
good and it's cheap.
it's
Good is
just,
good
do
until
you
you
want to do
develop
that?
a
Yeah, until you have a
specific
heart
type of
attack.
cancer.
And then
What did you want to bring up?
Oh, this is some shit I stumbled across Twitter.
what was it?
The Telegraph.
Oh my god. Oh my.
The headline:
Not this.
Why men should give their wives a cheat pass this Christmas.
Have a holly
Now, I'll just give you this-
Christmas.
It's the
best time of the year.
Go on, honey.
I'll give you the
Bought you this
headline
mail.
under it.
So
So it says
yeah,
many experts now believe monogamy is a tighter fit for women than for men.
Yeah.
Says Wednesday Martin, whoever the fuck that is. I already don't trust you.
when you say a tighter fit for women, like it's harder for women to be monogamous.
Yeah.
So essentially, the Telegraph is saying women are a bunch of whores that are just sleeping around.
Basically,
That's a bold statement.
It's not degeneracy.
which I would
Everyone does
actually
it.
go against this. I would think monogamy is harder for men because they don't have to deal with the consequence of developing a child. It's up for debate. I mean, I'm not saying it's
It
the
is up
truth.
for
It's the
debate.
topic of debate
Yeah.
for today.
Okay, that's. I feel like we all looked at each other. We were like,
Because there's an argument like, is monogamy, is that how we evolved? Or did we evolve in a polyamorous type of situation?
I would say monogamy.
I believe it was a combination of both.
Yeah, because I mean, when you look at hunter-gatherer societies, it's like one large family.
I feel like it was monogamy up until a point.
Yes.
Like up until the kid reached a certain age, and then the guy was like, "All right, you cool?
Probably.
You cool? All right, later we're gonna go find somebody else."
Probably.
That would be my guess in a hunter-gatherer setting. But I feel
Mhm.
like in today's modern world, it's 50-50. No,
Yeah.
like, you know, you can't pin all the blame on either party. I mean, we can both use Tinder.
why men should give their wives a cheap pass.
But
this
that's
Christmas.
funny, bro.
That's a weird ass article.
Yeah.
But
But like,
an even weirder recommendation. And if you were to follow through, if you
They
read
should
the
change
Telegraph, is it Telegraph UK like .co.uk?
I don't know. They should change it to why simps should give their wives a cheap pass
Yeah,
this
No,
Christmas.
but I mean, if you read that as a man and you're sitting down and you're like, maybe that would be a good idea, honey. Do you want to go
Yeah.
have sex with somebody else for
Yeah.
Christmas?
well,
What is your wife gonna
This-
think?
I was telling Zayd. I was telling Zayd
you're
yesterday.
a cuck if you're already that type of like you're thinking that way.
No, but I assume your wife thinks that you want to have sex with somebody else, so you're like, hey, why don't you go fuck somebody else?
Probably.
Yeah.
Like, that's the
It's-
worst advice.
What I was telling Zayd yesterday, it's not immoral or degenerate if everyone is doing it, right?
No.
That's the way it's looked at.
No, I
That's the way
disagree
that
with
article
that.
is pointing towards.
That's
But it
true.
also did remind me of the whole, the media normalizing things with, like, let's just say, what was that movie with the child pornography? Not pornography, the fucking child
Oh, the
um,
cuties.
Cuties,
yeah.
Yeah.
You know how it was
discussed
like
that.
everyone got pissed and then they removed it, or like
I
they
don't-
didn't remove it, but like they kind of like tried to keep it quiet.
Their
on media.
YouTube, their
Oh, that-
ratio was unbelievable.
Yeah.
It was amazing how quickly that got pushed to the side.
Yeah,
Like, just almost instantaneously.
yeah. Now, do you think that's another form of like, let's try to normalize this for some reason and just ruin a generation, and ruin generations to come? I
I'm-
feel like everything is moving towards that
I'm
way. dude.
baffled why because the people who write this kind of shit actually believe in it.
Yeah.
So I'm just baffled.
Well, that is the way to start a war in today's age, is to just send out degeneracy and degenerate shit and being normalized towards the young generation.
But also, like, we say it's normalized, but I think most people don't approve of it.
Yeah, but by normalized, I mean future normalization. Like,
Or at least it
slow
just gets
progression.
into the media sends it out, and then
But what if that's where we go? What if that is
what
what
what's
we end up
deemed-
doing? What
yeah.
if we feel like monogamy is outdated?
Well, we can reference the last episode and just say that.
Exactly. That's what I was about to
well,
say.
that's where a lot of people are going, at least from what I've seen.
Yeah. If
They're
everything
like,
is
we're
destined
in an open
and written,
relationship, no labels.
yeah.
I don't
We're-
think monogamy's gonna die. Like, that's not what
No.
I'm saying, but I
Yeah.
feel like it might fall out of fashion in the future.
Yeah.
Which is that something that we should strive for? I don't know.
Okay, here's the question. So the reason why, if you have two healthy individuals in a monogamous relationship,
Mm-hmm.
the reason why that works is because, or the reason why that's great for society is because it creates a strong family structure. So here's the question. Can you create a strong family structure in a polyamorous type of environment? I think you can with
You
healthy
can.
people.
You can.
I think it's possible.
You just need you need to
It's just
divide.
harder.
You need to or separate yourself from certain things to build a stronger family.
Like, there's this comedian, I believe his name's Joe Coy, if I remember correctly.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty funny guy, really good at accents. Loves to talk about his mom in his stand-up.
Does he have a pond?
A podcast?
Pond.
Pond?
A podcast.
Koi. Anyway, continue.
But,
Oh, that's
um,
what it is. Oh.
But he was on Tom Segura's podcast, and he was talking about it was very briefly mentioned,
Mm-hmm.
like him and his wife split up, if I remember correctly. And he's like, I love her. He's like, I love her, but it just couldn't work out.
Yeah.
And so him and his wife seem to be doing just fine, like, I guess sharing joint custody of their child, having a semi-healthy relationship. I feel like as long as the child knows that, or as long as the child doesn't really develop a favorite, or maybe even that's okay. What am I trying to say here? I'm trying to say that I feel like if the child understands the circumstances as to what happened and why it went wrong, and it's like, listen, we both love you equally. It's just you're like, mom and dad can't live together kind of thing. I feel like it could happen.
I think
I
it
don't see
comes
why
down
it
to
couldn't.
this.
Yeah.
I think it comes down to this. You have a strong mother figure in your life as a child, and you also have a strong father figure.
Yeah. It's presence.
It doesn't necessarily matter where it comes from, as long as you have those influences.
Yeah, the presence of both needs to be there equally. That's it.
Then you can go on and be a healthy adult. Because I've heard of a lot of people who are in those types of, like, they're in that family dynamic, and they grow up to be normal, healthy people.
Yeah. The non-normal healthy people is when someone gets abandoned for 2 years, then decides to come back slowly, and then disappears for a little bit, and then comes back.
Yeah, no
You know,
father
it's not
figure.
equal. You
or
know,
even worse, if your parents use you as like a means to get money,
yeah,
in the divorce settlement
yeah,
from whatever side it's coming from, like that's got to feel shitty.
yeah,
You're basically a bargaining tool for your parents at that point.
yeah. Well, I feel like those split ups though, that means that both people respect each other still, right? They didn't split up because of reasons of hate. It was just kind of like they know maybe it's better to just cut it off here, like the whole marriage thing. But
Yeah.
like we both equally care about the child, so why don't we do our best since we both work at our towards our daily goals and stuff? Why don't
Mm-hmm.
we make this a goal as well? We will never forget that.
Yeah.
Some people do that. I don't know how people can abandon a child, dude. Yeah, like I understand, like how like a mother has like the intuition or the deep connection with a child more than a father does.
Yeah, like
Kind
if I've heard stories of like a child about to drown and the mom just senses something,
Yeah.
comes from downstairs and just
Yeah,
catches him.
Yeah, it's just the connection is immediate with females rather than males,
Mm-hmm.
even though it's your child.
I mean, because it was developing in the mom, like the baby. I
Yeah.
know they say that the baby has a separate heartbeat from the mom's, but that's what they heard for a
Mhm.
long time in the womb,
yeah,
especially in the like those very early stages of development.
yeah. So I've seen father figures that have just as much love, surprisingly.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, of course.
And I've seen the complete opposite of that, where it's just like they're not even their child. They don't care. Like how could you even bring yourself to that point?
That's the real problem, at least in
It's a
this
very
country.
big problem.
I just don't think you could understand unless you're in that scenario.
You
That's
can't
the
understand.
thing,
I'm not
you
a
know?
father, but
Because I mean, it could be a bunch of things,
Mhm.
right? It's an endless list as to why a dad or a mom might outright reject or neglect their child. I'm not saying it's appropriate, but I'm saying there are reasons why it might
Mhm.
have happened. Like, for example, in their past, their parents didn't give a shit about them.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
So they act in the only way that they know, and they just repeat that behavior. While it is toxic, that happens.
yeah,
Or better yet, not better, but another example could be like maybe the dad thought everything was going great. Wife said, I'm pregnant. And then in that moment, the overwhelming responsibility
Mhm.
of being a parent like actually hits them. And they're like, holy
Especially with
shit."
younger people who are having kids.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's terrifying. And then the wave crashes and they get kind of, I guess, tossed out of the loop that they were in before. And now
Mhm.
they're on a whole path of like, I don't know what to do. They're super neurotic. And sometimes that can translate into neglecting or rejecting, as you were talking about earlier, your kids.
yeah,
I would imagine. I mean,
yeah. I
not
feel
a,
like
not a therapist, not a psychiatrist,
Mhm.
just a
yeah.
guess.
I feel like it's overlooked generally like in today's society to be willing to be a family man. Everything is just so entrepreneur,
Bro, single mothers are an
single
epidemic.
hustler,
Single-
on my own path kind of stuff. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
I honestly didn't start getting successful until I became a family man, where it was just I made time for that.
Yeah.
I was never like that. I kind of just phased myself out. Didn't really, I was just like, yeah, I'm 18 now. Yeah, I'm 19 now. Yeah, I'm 20, and I should be out by now. Like I don't need to call them. They would call me, I wouldn't answer. That kind of stuff. Now I go out of my way. I take the 10 minutes to call, check in,
Mhm.
stuff like that, make sure everything's okay. Dude, my relationships besides my family with everyone has been so much better.
Yeah, you've matured.
I'm way more respected. I almost can't wait to have my first daughter, my first, son.
Mm-hmm.
It's down. And the way I see it with the people around me is the people that are always taken very seriously, especially with a significant other, is always the one that's very family oriented. They're always the ones that are catchy. They're like eye candy to women.
Yeah.
It's the ones that are always like, sorry, got family time. Can't
Mhm.
kick it. It's
They intuitively understand
and I
that
feel like the
that's gonna be a
faster
good
we
father.
the faster we understand that, I think the better our lives would be.
Yeah.
It's insane. Like I know we all don't have, loving parents or like shit like that. But
Parents
like
that were even there. Like,
honestly, dude, if if you can get out of your head that you are the better person and just try, you know,
Yeah, break the generational curse.
yeah, at least you know that you should be content with knowing that you're trying. If they don't give a shit, at least you're trying.
Yeah. It's just we have a huge epidemic of bad parents.
We do.
You know, and that stemmed from their parents before them and their parents before them, you know. We're transitioning from this state of being a very, I guess you could say, almost like a hardened culture, at least at how we used to perceive things like back in the 40s, right? It was
Mhm.
very straightforward. Like, listen to your fucking parents. Like, don't do anything else. You do what we say,
Yeah.
regardless of how the parents acted. Now we put more of an emphasis on the child,
Mm-hmm.
which it stems to why is the child acting this way? It's probably a result of their parents. Because if their parents were super, super nice, right, it's very rare that their child's just going to be a monster
Yeah.
coming out of the gate.
Yeah.
It's pretty rare. It happens, but it's not likely, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that also stems from don't just be the nice parent. You have to be a parent.
Yeah,
Right.
set some boundaries.
You have to be firm with your child, but not overbearing.
You got to take the time, dude.
Yeah,
Like
it's effort.
I've mentioned before, like with my little brothers, let's just say they say something bad or something that I dislike or something that's not of their age or something that I just don't agree with, right? I'll take the time, like regardless if I'm busy at that moment or not, I'll take the time. I'll be like, set everything aside, and I'll just be like, come here. Why'd you say that? He's like, no, I didn't. I was like, okay, first of all, you're lying. You know? Why are you lying? I heard you. Second of all, don't say that because this, that, and that. If you say this later on in your life, this is going to happen. And then they listen, you know? But if you don't do that every single time, it'll catch up and they'll just turn into monsters.
Yeah.
You literally, it's a separate responsibility.
You have to put some fear into them. Make sure that they know that they cross a boundary.
And they will respect you eventually.
Yeah,
right. And like just like everything else, takes time.
And
practice.
it's no coincidence that the parents who don't have boundaries, that their kids eventually turn on them.
Yeah.
It was like I just saw this TikTok on Instagram because all Instagram is a cesspool of all other social media platforms.
really
posts
is.
gathering together. But like, it was a TikTok of this little girl that was talking about like, why is it that parents complain and say that I'm ungrateful because they give me a house, a food, or they give me a house, food, electricity, like they pay for school. And then she shook the camera like super bizarre and she was like, it's your job. Stop complaining about it. And I was like,
So
wow.
fucking entitled.
That's where we're at right now. Because under that, I clicked into the comment section. Because where you find real truth in posts or real truth about society on social media is by reading through the comments.
Mm-hmm.
Because that's where people let out their innermost thoughts. Because there's usually no repercussions because everything's
Yeah.
They're anonymous.
Another thing that I think is completely wrong is that there's no family privacy anymore. Everything is on social media, dude. And the fact that we have cameras on our fucking phones these days, on the spot,
Yeah, it's a tough
dude,
thing
you're
to deal
recording
with.
everything and it's just being put out.
Mhm.
These kids are stupid, bro. Like, what happened to like keep the family shit low key? You know?
keep your
Yeah.
personal shit low.
What
key.
happened
to-
What happened to that?
Yeah.
What happened to
But
let's
at-
not
but,
film the
like,
domestic abuse?
Let's just say like you're open, but why ruin everyone else's image? Or like we understand that most families function the same way. We all have problems. We all have fucking, you know? But like, why is that being displayed? Like, I hate that whole prank shit where it's
Yeah.
just like, oh, a pranking parents challenge or whatever, you know? Where it's like the mom's in it too, and she'd be like, come here. And he's like, shut up. And then the dad would get up and beat his ass on camera. What? How in any way
Great
is that
prank, bro.
funny? How in any way is that funny? That's not funny
Solid
to me.
prank, bro.
Like, is that funny to you guys?
No, of course not.
No.
It's just like, okay, good job putting your shit on blast. You know what I mean? Without your father's consent either. Just fucking up there.
Just go ahead and do that shit.
Yeah. It's just dumb, bro. That shit, I think, has a part in degeneracy or whatever you want to call it.
In regards to young men, I think this is a problem too.
Mhm.
So let's say we know a lot of boys don't have a strong father figure.
That's
They're
true.
either not in their lives or not in their lives.
Or they're a brick wall.
Yeah, they're a brick wall. So in the case of single mothers, the single mother has to try to do the job of the masculine, try to take on the father's role.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm convinced that a mother can't do that.
Yeah,
A
because
mother can only do what a mother can
yeah,
do.
a woman is observant. So she's gonna notice that the father figure is not doing this thing, but she doesn't want to go through a divorce because it'll
And
ruin the
as a
family or function or whatever.
and as a result, the boy only has, a feminine frame of reference or a feminine example to lean off of. So then here's my theory. It's just an idea.
Yeah.
The reason why I think a lot of boys grow up and become more feminine is because that's all they were exposed to. And then that makes them more likely to believe in certain ideas that are floating around.
I feel like that's a little bit of an outdated theory.
How so?
No.
I feel like that's something that a lot of dudes from like our parents' generation would say. And maybe there's a little bit of like an ear of truth in that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
but-
there probably still is, but as the times change, the percentage maybe gets lower.
I just feel like there's so many boys out there that are raised by single moms, right?
Mhm.
Because as you mentioned earlier, there's an epidemic of single moms in our nation.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of them seem to turn out just fine.
Yeah,
they're on their
definitely.
own. They're on their own path, and
Because single mothers bust their ass to
Yeah, of
do the best they
course.
Yeah,
can.
and I mean, I've seen a lot of I know a single mom that has 3 boys that are grown men now. They're doing just fine.
Yeah.
What she had to do was literally not necessarily be the father figure, but show it a little bit. But at the same time, she would put them in little communities and activities that had a lot of testosterone.
That's the
That's
key.
where it's at.
That's the key.
Because if you're doing like basketball, for example, BMXing, or anything with a coach, really, that's basically your mentor. That's your father figure,
Mhm.
kind of, in
Mhm.
a
Yeah.
sense. It's floating testosterone. Is it not?
floating testosterone.
Yeah.
So
that's what
really,
it is.
it just depends on context, what kind of family.
Yeah,
you're
it just
in.
depends.
Yeah.
It's all case by case.
Yeah.
Circumstances are different, but well, that's what I believe. I believe that the world is getting more and more fucked up, and we need to do something about it, or at least talk about it.
2 a.m. podcast
Well,
needs
it's
to come out
like,
with a course on how to build a strong family.
It was like
Yeah,
I
how to
don't
build
know,
anything, dude.
I don't know if you guys saw this article,
Mm-hmm.
but it came out the other day, and it was France was trying to, or Macron, or the president of France, Macron, or whatever,
Macron.
Macaroon.
French.
He was
Macaroon.
he was talking about implementing this program where Muslim children born within the country get an ID number,
Mm-hmm.
and they use that number to like.
Literally, I just thought of like Holocaust or something.
And it's not tattooed on them, but it's like they're assigned a number, and it's essentially to keep track on their parents
Yeah.
for any terrorist activity, which raised 2 questions.
Mm-hmm.
And the article claimed that Macron was trying to implement Republican ideals as a means to get this done.
Yeah.
And it raised 2 questions. One of which was, who the fuck thought that was a good idea?
Yeah,
Like,
who decided to take a
who-
page out of the fascist playbook?
And 2, what about that as a Republican idea? Now let's just get that one out of the way. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
I guess if you want to bank on the fact that what they're trying to do is essentially implement their own the Patriot Act
Mm-hmm.
in France, where they're trying to monitor people without scrutiny, I guess if you want to go down that route and say, since the Republicans made the Patriot Act in the United States, it's a Republican value, which, fine, I get that. Let's get over that one. The real important thing is, who the fuck thought this was a good idea?
And
Yeah.
why only Muslim kids? Like, I understand, okay, you have a history with ISIS attacks and all of this, but
So I actually was talking to somebody about this, and he was like, "You've been to Paris, you've seen all the racism against Muslim people," and I'm like, "You're right. There's a healthy amount there,
Mhm.
especially there's a very large resentment for Algerians, which doesn't make any sense because Algerian culture is sprinkled all throughout that entire city.
Yeah.
It's all over the place. When they won the was it the World Cup or some soccer match? Like, not the World Cup, but they won some big soccer game, Algeria. People went insane in the streets
yeah.
Yeah.
with support, like sticking their heads out of cars, like 4 people on each window, and they all got flags that are
Yeah.
Algerian, and they're just like so stoked. That's what I saw when I was there. I met a bunch of Algerian people. They were super cool. But it's true. There's a lot of Muslim women in the streets that are
Yeah.
homeless, where all they do all day is lie face down in the streets,
Damn.
crying for hours, just asking for donations, like putting a cup out. Like, some of them are on their knees, like sprayed out like this. Some of them are just straight up lying face down on the ground, weeping. for hours because the French government has essentially abandoned them as refugees. And I'm not saying that's just Algerians, even though there's a lot of them there. It's primarily Syrians. And I was like, why would they even think of implementing something like this? And I remembered back in 2015, 16-ish, there was a huge influx of refugees into the area due to some events. I forget what exactly.
The Syrian war.
Syrians were at the top of the list.
Yeah.
And then underneath them, I believe it was Afghanis were in second place for like the most that were entering as refugees. And they had millions of refugees flow into Paris. Or not Paris, France as a whole.
Yeah.
And so
It's
that
chaos.
created just a huge amount of slums opening across the city because these people can't get jobs. They're not, I believe they weren't deemed legitimate citizens at the time.
Yeah.
And they still aren't, most of them. So they can't really get a job that's legal, at least. So they resort to crime as a means to get money. And when you're in a bad situation like that and anything seems like a way out or a last-ditch resort.
Yeah, money's money at that
You're
point.
going to take it.
Yeah.
Well, I wasn't thinking money, but sometimes terrorism's on the table.
Damn.
Like I know a kid who was telling me about his story. I'll just get to the gist of it. His little brother had seen so much and was already so like torn up, and this guy was Syrian, if I remember correctly. His brother was so shocked, he was just didn't want to be alive, and this kid's like in 8th grade, right, or 7th grade. What he would be, I think, 12 or 13 at this point. He was already talking about joining ISIS because it was like all that was left.
What the hell?
Like, what else is left?
Well, no, it
His
makes
family-
sense though because like
Yeah, family's gone. Literally, any ties that he has to anything to get money's gone. Basically homeless, is living in like this bombed out place. He's like, I'm thinking about it.
And that's where ISIS comes in with the propaganda. Yeah, we'll create, we have a strong bond together and all of this other shit.
Yeah.
I still don't understand it. Like how? That's just.
How do you think they were able to recruit so many foreigners, young foreigners too? Because they put out this false narrative of like
They feel like that
paradise.
these people feel like there's no other option for them, and then they get handed this opportunity that could project them into something bigger than themselves, or so they seem.
High ego.
And
No.
I'm not saying every refugee in Paris or France did that. I'm not
Yeah,
even
of
saying the
course.
majority. In fact, it's probably an unbelievably small minority, probably less
Yeah.
than
Of course.
1% realistically that did something like that.
Mhm.
However, for the country to go from that, which by the way, they didn't help out these refugees very much, if at all, in their circumstances. They had a better job managing it in Germany, and it still didn't go great over there. But in Paris, they really kind of just kicked them to the curb, literally, like living on the streets. And now they're trying to instigate them for terrorist acts, which they don't have a lot of evidence, if any at all, to support that proof
Yeah.
or to support that claim. And it's just a huge amount of racial targeting that's going on.
They're trying to come back from surrendering. That's what.
Is xenophobia the same as racism?
I don't know, man.
Racism is having a preconceived notion of somebody solely based on the color of their skin. At least that's what I was taught that racism was. It feels like nowadays the definition has completely changed into something else, but that's what I was told the definition of racism was. Xenophobia is having an outright rejection or fear of a culture that's not yours. That's what I understand xenophobia
Got
to
it.
be.
I
Got it.
think it's more xenophobic. Because I mean, if you're a French citizen, if you're the French people, you're looking at okay, refugees are flooding the streets. The society that you live in is slowly degrading in front of your eyes. Then I can see. I mean, I'm not justifying it, of course, but I can see their perspective of why they're so scared and
Well, it's racist and xenophobic.
yeah, it's
Because
probably
you're
a
right.
mix.
There is a general fear of Islam, essentially. And that's not just in France. I mean, that's over here, too, especially after 9/11. There was a huge rise in xenophobic remarks to people involved with Islam,
Mhm.
to a point where some people were afraid to practice their religion in the United States, which they shouldn't be. Because, I mean, that's like one of the big clauses of the United States is freedom of religion. And so why are we ostracizing this one group of people just because a very small minority of that group of people, unbelievably small, took the reign and said, we're going to do this unbelievably horrible thing.
Yeah.
So we had this huge culture shock in the United States, and also France had it, but much later, when it came to Islamic people. And so they're taking it a step further.
Yeah,
by
that's-
introducing the racism as well.
Mhm.
Because now they just assume anybody that's brown and looks a little bit Arab is a terrorist. Not all people, but people that are racist in
They
that way.
took a big leap by implementing racist policy.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And France is trying to in that regard.
But like
Yeah.
you said, immediately, I thought when I first heard of that, I was like, this resembles the Holocaust. What the fuck is this?
Yeah. With the whole like number shit, I was like, what?
Yeah, it's
And it's targeting one group of people.
specific.
Yeah,
Very specific group of people.
Yeah. It's not a good thing.
No.
Not at all.
Even if you
Let's just
targeted
put that
all
out there.
minorities, we're going to give all minorities
yeah.
a fucking identification number. No, it
Well,
doesn't fly.
yeah,
we know what
like-
history's like.
yeah, like I get it. Like for example, I was like, okay, let's just look at it as a social security number. No,
That's what I was
social security is for everyone.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's
But-
completely different.
If you're targeting one group of people,
If you're getting an extra,
Mm.
let's just say social security number because of your skin color,
Yeah.
your ethnic heritage,
your
race,
belief, whatever the hell it is.
yeah, that's unbelievably dangerous.
Yeah.
It's a slippery slope to go down.
Yeah.
Yeah, not a good policy, macaroon.
But isn't it? Here's the things I think about. I usually like to string things together. I go, okay, Biden won. France does this,
Here comes the internet Alex Jones.
and then
Here we go, here we
China's
go.
quiet right now. You know what I mean? Like it's kind of like, let's see how things play out. I want to see what based off the things that happen in the United States. What does it do to the rest of the world? Do you see what I mean? Think about that from now on, and see how it plays out.
yeah, everything's
Because
interconnected.
every 4
Geopolitics.
years, it feels like there's just something that insane that's just like proposed or is happening.
Well, there's a huge targeting of Muslims across the world right now.
Yeah. Well,
It's been going on
Yeah.
for years, to be fair.
But now
it's,
it's-
I
it's
say,
really-
I say in the
it's
United
ramped
States,
up.
it's really public now. It's in front
Yeah.
of your eyes.
in the U.S., I think a lot of that has gone away.
It comes in phases, dude.
It
That's
does.
all it is. It's just like one day it's Indians, the other day it's fucking Asians, another day it's black people, another day it's Muslims.
hmm
It's just a fucking circus, dude. It's just
and who's instigating all of it? The whites.
oh.
The whites are instigating it all.
Yeah, no, not even then, because then whites have their days too, where they'd be like, oh, look at these, like, all racists are finally coming out and shit.
Actually, can
Fucking-
you apologize
what
for
the
your
hell
white
does-
privilege?
What does that even mean? And that pissed me off, by the way, when people used to say like, the racists are coming out, and there's just pictures of white people.
They've always been.
I'm like, bro, you could be Arab, and and still racist.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter.
Well, that's like a whole. That's
a whole different
nother
thing,
I
but-
mean, there's like a whole thing where it's like it's like all white people are racist, and then there was the big term or the big phrase that was being thrown around that was black people can't be racist. It's impossible.
Which
for
is
black people
absurd.
to be
Dude, I'm
racist.
saying as a human being, any person is capable of being racist. It
Yeah,
does
and
not
I'm like,
matter
just by the definition of racism, it's impossible for anybody of any race.
to not be racist.
Well, not to not be racist, but I mean to be excluded from racism.
Okay.
Yeah, like we understand the slave trade was mostly done by white people or of European descent, but that doesn't mean that, from then on, from that point forward, that all white people are going to be racist.
Yeah,
like,
because here's
it's
the
just
thing, dude.
stupid thinking.
If all white people were racist, I know some of my friends, dude, their parents wouldn't have gotten married because he's fucking Jordanian and she's white, or the other way around.
yeah,
We
case
have-
by case.
Yeah,
dude.
we have like half Mexican families with half Algerian, or half Italian with half Palestinian. Like, what does that go to show you? Not everyone's the same, dude.
We should defund.
It doesn't matter.
stupidity.
Yeah, we should what?
Defund stupidity.
Oh, I thought you said defund Saudi. I was like, what? Good
God
luck,
damn,
dude.
big jump.
we need the oil,
I
bro.
want to talk about Saudi.
Yeah,
Saudis.
I was like, big jump.
Well, it's like we have the oil reserves here in the United States. I think we have some of the biggest on the planet.
Yeah, we do.
actually.
Yeah.
But like we would have to destroy our land to do it,
Mm-hmm.
and people aren't willing to do that for obvious reasons. So they're like, let's go over to the Middle East where it's just deserts, bro.
Yeah,
It's like,
dude. What happened to this land is my land. This land is your land.
Yeah, seriously. That's out the window.
What happened
That's
to
how-
working together? How do you think we got to this point as a species?
Well, I
Oh.
think Joe Rogan makes a good point. It's hard to have a system of government. Like, this system of government made sense when it was like less than 50 million people,
Mhm.
max. Now
Yeah.
we're at 400 million. And yeah, we're the United States. We're a bunch of individual territories or states that are all congregated under one giant blanket, which is the United States. right?
Mm-hmm.
However, each state has a completely separate culture, completely separate ideology, completely separate beliefs. The way they speak is differently. Their
Yes.
accents are different. They look different in every state.
Different history.
Yeah, so it's like it's impressive that half the state, or half, when I say half the state, half the country is even able to like align with a political ideology at all. Like 50% Republican, 50% Democrat.
Mm-hmm.
That's insane to me. Now, I'm not saying the way that Europeans do democracy is better, but I'm just saying it does leave a lot more room open for different ideologies to enter the frame.
Yeah.
I don't think
Mhm.
it's better, to be fair, and I don't think our system's perfect either.
Yeah, and there is
But,
no
like-
perfect system. It's just,
It's
I mean, you got to think about the United States being the United States, which is heavily diverse with people.
yeah.
We got every other continent we look at, everyone from there is here.
Well, it's like most
There's
other
little
countries,
sprinkles of everything.
like
dude.
most other countries you look at, for the most part, everybody's relatively similar.
Yeah.
Now, they do have different accents depending on which region of the country you're in.
Mm-hmm.
That's true. But ideologically, like, for example, if you're in Scotland, the majority of people there are Scottish
Yeah.
by descent. When you come over here, it's a mixed fucking bag.
Yep.
Mhm.
I mean, it's a lot of white, but it's a lot of white from all over the world,
Mm-hmm.
not just British white.
Yeah.
There's a lot of black people, but not all just from one specific country in Africa if you want to go down that route.
Yeah.
I mean, they're from all over the world. There's Asians from all over the world.
Mm-hmm.
There's Latin people from all over the world.
Yeah. I've met people that like in like corporate companies and things like that were I've known them for years and they're white, right? Come to know 5 years later, they go back to Lebanon. They're Lebanese, but they're white. You see what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of like, yeah, we were once Lebanese, but now we're just white. And I'm like, what? How do you even can someone explain that to me? That
just
means
said
we
it.
all do really come from, there's no such thing as a color.
Well, like, the reason I even brought that up in the first place, the whole differences and everything across the United States, is that, yeah, we're very different.
Mhm.
It quite literally is the melting pot of the world.
Mm-hmm.
And why is it that we have such a difficult time putting the differences aside and trying to figure out positive solutions?
Yeah.
And I guess that's the kumbaya factor, as I'm going to call it. Like well, of course, that'd be the best case scenario, but that's not how it works. Why can't it work that way?
Yeah.
Why do you just have to say, oh, the thing that makes sense and would be better for everyone doesn't work? It doesn't
Mhm.
happen.
Yeah, you have to question the
It's like,
underlying
oh,
assumption.
You have specialized interest groups that want this and want that. Why are they allowed to exist? Like, why
Mhm.
the hell are lobbyists still a thing? Why should we allow public enterprise to persuade government ideology?
Yeah.
Why can't we incentivize healthy things for both ourselves and the planet
Yeah,
instead of bullshit?
why is it that we focus so much on not preventative health care, but rather reactive health care?
Yeah.
Where you have to react to the symptoms that have already been building over the course of however many years, rather than putting an emphasis on making your
Oh.
citizens healthy,
Yeah.
working out, trying to teach them how to eat properly, save some money in the process, maybe.
That's a
Yeah. I
topic
mean,
I'm
it feels like you
passionate
guys
about,
are
dude.
talking to me like I have answers.
Oh, I'm not talking. No, that's not.
No,
We're
no,
just
form of venting.
stating big
I'm
questions.
kidding, but I realize that
Hey,
you guys are both looking at
hey,
me and you're just like,
Come up with
"Hey,
answers. Come on, there's a notepad right
this
there.
is
Let's go.
bullshit." I'm like,
Solve the entire fucking world's
yeah, but
problem.
yeah.
And we're not asking you to solve
no,
it, but
I
we're
get
just
it.
trying to like
It's-
frame these questions because it's things that people should be thinking about,
Yeah.
right? Why is it that the world has to be this shitty place?
It really doesn't. It's just
It doesn't. No.
It's just we let it be that way.
well,
'Cause, I mean,
sad
there's a
to
lot-
say as much control as we do have or influence, we don't have any control at the same time.
But the thing is, the government works for us.
Yeah.
That's things that we always
Well-
forget. We're not slaves to the government. They're supposed to be public public officials that we elect.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
We put them there to represent us and to work for us.
Yeah.
And at some point, we turned it around and now we work for them.
Mhm.
And I think that's one of the biggest faults in the system,
Mm-hmm.
is that we let them push us around with essentially impunity. And we've been letting them do it for years.
Do you think that comes with the rise of social media and influencing?
I think social media helps us. It helps us become a little bit more lackadaisical
Like guided.
to the idea. When I say lax, I mean there's not as much care
Mm.
put into it. Because now we have these little dopamine boxes that keep us so preoccupied all day, and we've talked about that.
Yeah.
fucking How many
times?
It's like, yeah, right. That's like our version of Joe Rogan talking about aliens.
Mhm.
Like, we just talk about phones being the downfall of society, but they're not. It's the way we use them. That's the problem.
Think about it from the average person's perspective in this country. They pick up the phone, and because the media spreads only negativity for the most part, they're just like, oh, another negative thing happened.
Yeah.
They're becoming desensitized.
Have you ever felt like this, where you look at your phone, or you watch a movie, or you look at a music video, whatever it is, and you idolize this human right in front of you, and you forget that they're even human. You just look at them as this person that has got it all and just looks so good and amazing, and it's just like there's no way that you can ever be at that level, and that person is just praised so
the
much.
Embodiment of perfection.
That's when fangirls start going insane. Like, for example, we've all seen videos like a girl meeting Justin Bieber, for example, and
Yeah.
they're bawling, dude. They're crying. They're like, this is unbelievable. It's like they're meeting God, bro. Like, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I feel like that's a huge problem.
Or I watched a video the other
You need
day.
to calm down.
I watched a video the other day of Michael Jackson just getting onto stage
Mhm.
or getting on stage, and this was when he was white, right? And he was just standing there like fucking Superman on
Yeah.
stage, just commanding attention, and he's not even moving.
Yeah.
He's just looking off in the distance, just absorbing what's happening, right?
Yeah.
Just feeling it. And
Feeling like a
there's
god.
multiple people, men and women, that have already blacked out before the show even started. They passed out from excitement. When was the last time you were ever that excited about anything? Have you ever
12?
been so excited you passed out?
No.
You were so stoked.
I got
for what was about to
adrenaline
happen?
once, I
Yeah,
got
that's
adrenaline,
different. Yeah,
but not passed out. Like,
Like, I feel like that's impossible nowadays.
Yeah.
To be so excited about something that you black out from it.
oh my God, is that Zaydahaj?
But the thing
Pass the hell
I
out.
wanted to mention in the first place, right? You're talking about these people. They don't even become people anymore.
Yeah.
They ascend into something that's higher than that, right? And I'm not a religious guy by any means. I don't reject it either. But
Mhm.
like the 10 Commandments, yeah, they're old. Yeah, some of them aren't. Maybe some of them aren't the best for our modern fit today.
but there's a lot of truth.
There's truths to be found within each of them, right? For example, don't covet your neighbor's, I'll just dumb it down. Don't desire your neighbor's things. Basically meaning if you live a jealous life, it's going to have negative implications on not just you, but everyone around you.
Yeah.
And it's going to
Shocker.
become apparent. Or the one I wanted to mention for that example that you brought up was don't go making false idols.
Mm-hmm.
Because what it's going to do is detract your time, your focus, and your energy away from things that do matter and channel it into something or someone that is never going to really hear your praise. Probably not care that much about an individual's praise, right? Just some
Mhm.
guy in wherever the hell. And it's just a huge waste of time. I mean, good Lord. You're dedicating this huge chunk of your life into somebody who will never hear anything you have to say about it.
Yeah.
I'm a fan of idolizing your potential,
Yeah. Like,
because then at least you have this. I mean, you'll never attain perfection, but you have a perfect idea of what your perfect life would be,
But-
and then you can work towards it.
But
mhm.
here's the thing. A lot of people skip that second step. They just focus on what it can be, not how to get there.
Yeah, of course.
So that's the whole thing about making false idols.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Is if you idolize anything, in this case it was anything other than God, right? Which God, the way I like to look at it, should be your theoretical hub
Mm-hmm.
that you go to for solace, meditation, which is just thinking, and I guess guidance in one way or another. But that guidance really comes from within at the end of the day, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You find God within yourself, and God being the answer to whatever it is you're looking for, hopefully.
Or if you call it intuition or any of these other things.
Yeah,
Mhm.
that should be the end goal.
Source.
But when you idolize your potential, if you're just like, oh man, I'm gonna be rolling in it, be making millions,
I'm gonna buy
like,
me a
I'm
brand new Rolls
I
Royce
got-
Cullinan.
exactly, I'm gonna get all this shit, all the chicks are gonna want me, this, that. I think you're gonna get so wrapped up in making it that you're not gonna make it. So
Yeah.
rather, if you're gonna idolize anything, idolize the work ethic that you need to aspire to in order to project yourself to
You know
that
what the
higher,
most
Yeah.
that
screwed up
upper
thing?
echelon.
It requires a little bit more intelligence, obviously.
The
Mhm.
most screwed up thing about that is
Mhm.
that when you fantasize it, like people have this idea that they feel like they're making progress by fantasizing this,
Mm-hmm.
but they're not. It's like the ultimate self-delusion.
And I'm not saying don't make goals, because goals are important.
Yeah.
But I don't think what I'm trying to say is don't idolize the result of the goal before it's even happened.
Yeah. We've all been fans of something. You know what I mean? Like when I was growing up, I was always a fan of like the Power Rangers, for example. That's a huge example. It was a part of my life.
Yeah.
You know? Like
Red Ranger.
You totally.
you
would
really
Be,
you yeah.
You would
you
be.
would no. You would be the guy that have a crush on Pink Ranger.
Of course.
Tell me I'm wrong right now.
Dude, I absolutely had a crush. I also had a
Really?
crush on that evil chick too.
The evil chick.
Yeah, I think she was
The
bomb.
waist to hip ratio of Pink
Saeed-
Ranger, bro. Are you kidding me?
Saeed had a taste for the dark side
Well,
as a child.
I could tell that chick was tatted, bro, for sure. And I have a thing for tatted chicks, for sure.
I'm sure you
She's
do.
badass.
I'm
Yeah,
sure
she's
you do,
badass.
Sailor.
But
she can take pain.
yeah. But I'm saying is, like, there was being a fanboy is kind of like you get disconnected from yourself. Really, you just start.
'Cause you start
it's a
to-
dream. It's a
You're right.
dreamy world.
Because you start to associate your traits with the traits that they're putting out, and that's
Yeah.
not the real you.
Exactly. They get to
projection.
think for you. That's how you feel. I think the more you do practice self-discipline and awareness and all that stuff, it brings you back into reality.
Yeah.
I think people that are fangirling and shit, they're disconnected off reality.
Oh, 100%.
They're no drugs either. Just straight idolizing.
Imagine
or,
believing
Yeah.
that somebody's shit doesn't stink. Like, just
Yeah, but here's the thing. I've always once I was more self-aware, I think, or more aware of environment, what life is, things like that. You start reading people's bios, doing all that stuff. It really brings you back into a good place, and then you realize that these people earned it. They worked for it. I shouldn't have to agree with everything they said because they're their own person. I'm my own
Mhm.
person. No one should ever think for you. So,
yeah.
you know, it's that simple. Just got to work at it.
That's simple.
Yeah. Very simple.
Just trying to think about how to phrase this.
What?
I was thinking about something
Just thinking
the
of
other day.
some cipher stuff.
I was pondering some things.
Oh, I'm
just
sure
trying to
you
think
were.
about how to arrange them.
Mm.
He's trying to uncover the philosopher's stone.
I'm trying to dig deep.
Within the depths.
Do you think we should buy a gingerbread house
What?
for the studio?
Hey, we should make a video where we do something like that.
I'm down. Let's do that.
2 a.m. gingerbread trap house?
Can we start? Actually, you know what? Let us know. Let us know in the comment section, or better yet, hit us up on Instagram. Let us know if we should start doing more like fun vlogs, because I've been wanting to for a while.
Yeah.
Like I've
Better yet, I'll post it on the IG story.
or better like I'd like to do some more like artistic-y style vlog
Yeah.
kind of stuff. Like maybe we just go around and this might sound dumb from the get-go, but it's
Mhm.
more of like a visual meditation is the idea of it.
Yeah.
But we just go review like different hiking spots.
I'm down.
But it's like a 5 to 10 minute video where it's just mainly like really nice shots with good music laid underneath it. We just do like little reviews, do some jokes here and there.
Yeah, so we could do like for example, what if we hit up a tunnel or a mine tunnel and then we videotape that and
that would be nuts.
right? And then at the same time I can get cinematic sequences.
Cinematic sequences. Dude,
Win-win.
Layered up with your audio, dude.
Did we go into the mine and then we take like a really, really bright UV light, get some crazy shots with like all the different colored minerals on the walls and stuff like
Oh.
that?
And I can get more Instagram pictures to whore myself out on social media.
There you
Good.
go.
That could be
Win, win, win.
sick.
Yeah, this man is blessed with my talent.
All of your pictures, they come from you.
Thanks, dude. Thank you.
My talent reigns upon
Check the
this man's
tags. They're
feed.
all visual craftsmen.
Yeah, man. You're welcome.
Visual craftsman. God, that is such a good name on Instagram. How did you land that?
Yeah, I'm surprised you got that.
Yeah,
tag.
I'm sure. Wait, is it underscore visual craftsman or is it just visual
No, it's
craftsman?
Visual craftsman.
God, how did you get that? Nobody else did. That's such a good name.
No idea. Just did it. Thank you. You actually like it?
Yeah, of
You can imagine
course.
him
It's such-
editing-
Dude, it
that's
took
such
me
a good
months
name.
of
Hey,
thinking.
he's just editing away, and then it hits him. I'm a man of visuals.
And I craft them.
Visual craftsman.
I craft a visual in my mind.
I'm going Super Saiyan mode. I just unlocked Super Saiyan 3.
That's why his hair grew so long.
Kamehameha!
Yeah. Oh my god. Well,
Have you guys seen,
What?
before we end it, I don't know what time, who cares what time?
Yeah, who
Star
cares?
Wars.
yeah.
Have you guys seen any dumb shit this week?
Define dumb
Duh,
shit.
of course I
just,
have.
Just some
Yeah, I've seen-
outrageous dumb. I don't know if I can't even bring up an example for myself, but I'm curious. If
Were you
guys
with
have
me
one.
yesterday? No, you weren't with me yesterday when I went. I turned a corner and then there was like a Trump rally, and I'm like, he lost. They did a recount. Georgia did a recount.
Let's not discuss politics, but we'll discuss
No,
this
I
point.
literally, I'm just gonna say that.
Yeah.
And then I walked by and I was like, he lost. And then there was literally a guy that was just holding a fucking sign that said "Buy two get one free," and the one right next to him said Jesus.
People are just looking
I
for an
was like-
excuse to protest.
I was like, dude,
Bro,
what-
people are making money
Yeah.
off of this shit. People are instigating protests as a means to make money.
yeah,
Because their president or their alleged president won. That's
dude,
crazy.
it is just.
That's
It
wild.
was just funny, man. I was just trying to get some fish tacos, but
I'm trying to think.
saw that on the
Where
way.
from?
I know I've seen.
Little Fisherman's in Cypress, California.
Pretty
Really?
good.
Dude,
Pretty good.
really good. Pretty good.
I've been there once, so I
Bro,
can't
they
say
have
really good
okay.
yet.
I'll tell you this. I've tried a lot of their items, but what they really specialize in is their
Tacos.
battered shrimp tacos,
Tacos.
and they have their white sauce that's house made. You don't know what it is. They call it white sauce.
Listen, it's not the
You
healthiest
don't.
option.
You don't even need to know.
But it's so good.
It's like
Oh.
it's like sweet tartar sauce with a hint of ranch. It's not really ranch, but it's not consistency like ranch. It's just it has a flavor of ranch, but at the same time it has hickory and also a little bit of pepper. It's just so phenomenal.
Huh.
I don't know what it is,
and
dude.
hint of violet essence.
And the way
Violet essence. What is violet essence?
well, I brought that out of my ass.
Is
so.
there a bit of purple in there?
A bit of purple. It's
Purple
almost like a
tinge?
wine tasting.
A little
you
bit of
know?
taro in there for some
A wine
color?
tasting except with
Yes.
ranch, which is disgusting.
it's just
Might-
it's
as
amazing.
As we all know, Zayd's
I
a
gotta-
huge advocate for ranch.
I got to take you there since you worked at Bear Flag. I need you to try that and tell me what you think.
All right.
Because the manager's usually there and he's always like, "What do you guys think?" Like honestly, like, and we're like, "Dude, it's fucking amazing."
I'll let you know.
Yeah.
Manager at what's it called?
Little Fisherman's.
Little Fisherman's in Cyprus. I'll let you know.
Yes.
But dumb shit. I feel like people have been driving on the freeways unbelievably erratically near
Oh
us.
yeah, that's a normal.
But
thing
I've
for
got a million
California,
stories of that.
Hmm.
But it's worse now than it has been in the past.
Didn't you call me and tell me a story that was stupid?
Which one?
I don't remember. I was really busy, but I picked up the call because I was feeling lonely. Just kidding. No, but I picked up the call because I haven't
So
talked to Logan in a
lonely.
while. But you were telling me something. You were like, "Bro, you won't believe what just happened," or whatever. It was earlier this week. I'm trying to remember. Damn. I can't remember. But if you have anything other than that,
I mean, I've got a billion of them. Just like the more you drive on freeways, or the more you frequent anything, like any location,
yeah,
you
You
start
see-
to see its flaws.
you see some
Mhm.
shit.
You start to see where the manager or the constructor, whoever, right,
Mm-hmm.
didn't pay enough attention. So there's a lot of spots on the freeways over by like where I live where merging is a big problem.
Oh, near Long Beach, it's terrible.
Merging is a horrific problem,
Oh
and
my
it's the fault of two things. One, poor planning,
Okay.
and two, just completely forgetting to put signs on the road, markers or anything, which I guess could fall under poor planning, but it goes a step further than that.
Yeah.
So for the poor planning, right, these people have to merge onto a freeway where the average speed of people is like 75 miles an hour during the day.
Mm-hmm.
And they have a maximum of probably like 150 to 200 feet, 150 to 200 feet
Yeah.
to accelerate to 75 miles an hour from a standstill.
Better be in Ricky Racer mode.
The majority of cars cannot do that. The majority cannot get up to highway speed.
Yeah.
They'll probably hit like 55,
Yeah.
maybe 60 by the time they reach the end
Mhm.
of that,
Like an average 50.
right?
Mhm.
And so that causes a huge buildup of traffic. And these people can't get in, or better yet, they're just saying F it, and it's causing all the people in the lane that are already going to slow down.
Yeah. So now everyone's timing is off.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And it's unbelievably dangerous because now you just have this kind of dead spot. on the freeway where these
Mhm.
people are trying to get in, or they are getting in and are stopping the normal flow of traffic.
Yeah.
Right? So what they should have done was extend that bit of freeway or that runway for them to merge in by 2, maybe 3 times the distance. And then they forgot to put a sign up that says to merge in. And also, there were no paint markers on the road telling them they had to merge in.
Oh my God.
So these people, if you don't live in that area,
Yeah.
you're just like,
Oh.
You're like, oh my God.
yeah, you got a rough time.
Yeah. A blind spot ain't shit at that point. Like,
Seriously. Because once the light goes red, because in California, I don't know about other places in the country, but like we have these spots where to get onto the freeway, you have to wait at a little red light and then it'll let you in.
Mhm.
And that's as a means of traffic control,
Yeah.
essentially. And some of these places, as I just mentioned, do not have a long runway.
Mhm.
So if you're not from there and you don't know, good luck.
Yeah.
It's like trying to merge onto no, it's like trying to jump into the middle of a 100-meter sprint and you're at the 50-meter mark, right? Like good luck getting into that shit and catching
Yeah.
or keeping time properly. And I was just in that lane, right? Cruising the far right lane,
Mm-hmm.
just cruising normal speed, 70, 65, whatever, right? In the slow lane. And these people are parked and I see this guy go for it. And I was like, okay, he's going slow. I'm going to pass him. Well, apparently, mid jog, as I'm going to call it, he just gassed it. And now we're next to each other, right? Because he
Yeah.
was in a faster car.
Yeah.
And the merge is coming up. And so I was like, oh, shoot. I have 2 options. I can shoot past him or I can press on the brakes and go back. So I chose the latter. I pressed on the brakes, let him go in front of me. He didn't give a shit. He just saw that the lane was ending, freaked out, and merged immediately, almost clipping me, like the front end of my car,
Yeah.
65, 70-ish miles an hour.
Yeah.
And then that caused me to freak out. Holy shit. So in that moment, immediately looked to my left, didn't see anybody, my left rearview mirror,
Mhm.
didn't see anybody. So I just whipped over into traffic.
Yeah.
That lane of traffic was going faster than I was.
Mm-hmm.
So now I'm a danger to everybody in that traffic lane.
Yeah.
Just because this guy's
So
a dick.
domino effect.
Yeah.
Now you see,
Stupid.
one dumbass can cause
A whole
mass
myriad
destruction.
of problems.
Yeah. That's insane, man.
So my point is, California, get your freeways together, man.
yeah.
Get your shit
It's the
together.
Golden State, and we're driving on dirt roads, basically,
No
in
more
certain
dumb
parts
shit.
of the country.
For
No more dumb
real,
shit,
dude.
please.
We don't
But
believe in dumb shit.
speaking of things that are not dumb shit,
Yeah, man.
episode 62, am I right?
Episode
sir.
62. And
Wait. Let's do a round of applause. Whoever wants to send us out, send us out.
You know.
Episode 62, everybody. You just joined us in the stew. Go ahead and climb over to youtube.com. Subscribe to us at officially 2 a.m. Hit that subscribe button. Like the video. Leave a comment if you feel so inclined. We appreciate it. You can also check us out on a whole bunch of other sources or platforms such as Spotify, Apple Podcast, Castbox, and Anchor.fm, and
A bunch of
whole
other
bunch
motherfucking
places.
Yeah.
platforms.
And if they give you an option to leave a 5-star review,
Leave
please
it.
go ahead and do that. We really
Yep.
appreciate it. And we also love any comments you give us, suggestions for videos. We're trying to do more, as you heard earlier. We're trying to
Mhm.
branch out into different types of content, just so it's something that you guys can watch, get a little bit of a look into our lives, and see what we're capable of. So, officially 2 a.m. on YouTube, the 2 a.m. podcast on Spotify, Anchor.fm, Apple Podcasts, Castbox, and many more.
Yes.
And this has been Logan.
This has been Zayn.
And this has been Saeed.
Thank you very much for joining us once again, and everybody on a 1, 2, a 1, 2, 3, 4.
and peace.
Thank you.